I forgot to tell you, Joe.
Max Nardi, yeah. Yes, sir.
Gang. All right. Nothing.
Woo!
All right, so that was kind of all right. I'm going to read you 2 emails, okay? And this is after we've already discussed this. Joe, we're edit this, but there's 2 questions about the Dave Meltzer Van Vliet thing. And I'm just going to, however you do this, is spice these all together, right? I'm going to read these back to back. First one's from Sean Burgess. Subject is Meltzer finally beginning to get caught out. What does caught out mean? I think it means called out.
Called out.
Caught out. Hi, gents. I hope you're all well. As a very casual wrestling fan, I've never heard of Meltzer until I started listening to K100. And I'm a day one listener, by the way. The more I hear his comments and the absolute tripe he talks about star ratings, etc., the more I think the bloke is just a scam artist. Having seemingly been able to get away with it for so many years and make a fortune out of it, it feels to me like more and more people are becoming vocal to his ratings and bias. There's absolutely no problem with him being biased and favoring certain promotions, but surely then that demotes you to being just a fan. Your credibility has to be zero. There's no doubt in his knowledge and memory of the industry, and he can be great as a wrestling historian. However, the Chris Van Vliet interview demolished his credibility as a critic, in my opinion. I guess the question around this is, do you think Meltzer's coming to the end of his time as a credible wrestling source? Keep on keeping 100. That cheers, Sean from the UK. And the next one is from J12. The subject is Meltzer, Chris Van Vliet. Hey guys, Meltzer was recently a guest on Chris Van Vliet's show, was grilled about his star ratings. He ended the interview with Chris with pleasantries that proceeds to bury the interview behind his paywall. Why did not know this? Why does he not want anyone to even question his rating system without getting offended? Screenshot below. This is from Dave's paywall. This is interesting. When you were listening to that interview, Konnan, did Van Vliet sound very respectful?
Yes.
Okay, so then Dave says, I hated the interview. Part of the problem was, this is from Dave, part of the problem was I did about 45 minutes after my son's dog died, and to his credit, Chris said maybe we should do it another time, but I just want to get my mind off it. But it was a bad decision. My mind was not there at all. Plus, all of a sudden, I'm wasting time on quarter-star differences in matches from more than a decade ago, which is so ridiculous. If we're within 1 star, it means we agree, and it's just a stupid discussion after that point.
Salty.
Does that sound like Salty Dave, Konnan?
Yes, Surly Dave, which is my favorite.
Dave did not like the way he came across, because I guarantee he read the everybody's commented on it, because he didn't. Konnan, you should go listen to it too. This is what
I'm thinking, right? And I like Dave a lot as a person, everything. I respect him. I think that he's so used to being put over that when he isn't being put over, he gets kind of defensive, because he's known as the whatever the grand wizard of wrestling, or whatever you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the go-to guy. And I think sometimes, and he didn't, and he probably people started to write, bro, you didn't look good in the interview, or maybe heard it back, and he said, I didn't look good in this interview. Obviously, I haven't heard the whole thing, but you're saying it was, especially the stuff before we heard it, was really good. So I'll go back and listen to it. Mm-hmm. But that's probably what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I read, I love reading The Observer because it keeps me up to date. But I never read his reviews because they're too long and too what's the word?
Like any wrestling, like the reason when I do our show reviews, I don't read all the reviews of the matches word for word, which these guys do.
Yeah, you don't go, I can't.
Right.
No, they block the suplex.
Right. So the reviews are way longer if you read them, obviously.
So I don't want to read all of that. Right. So what I used to do before, back in the day, and I'm talking 20 years ago, is if I would see something was 4 stars or more, I'd usually watch it because it usually was good, Right. And if it ever hit 5 stars, I'd watch it for sure. But nowadays, I don't really care about going out of my way to watch any match unless it's something so ridiculous where somebody goes, oh, you got to watch this. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me.
Perfect example. This past weekend, Dave said that the what was a Collision, that the FTR match against Juice and Jay White was the best tag team match in the history of American television, right? And I would be like, if I read that, I missed it, well, let me go check that out. That looked just like, bro, they went 60 minutes. There's no way. I'm like, what? Like with all the stuff that we do, I work, we watch the shows, we do. Like, there's no way I can find an hour to watch that. Like, it's just not going to happen. You know, it's like so that I don't know. Like it said, it's hard. It's hard to. The match has to be like really, 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 really good for me to spend the time in it, and it can't be more than 15 minutes. You know.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing with AEW is that it's kind of a promotion for hardcores. They over deliver to them, and the fans they pay them back by buying all their products and buying tickets. But it's like, dude, you're not doing as good as you used to. Isn't that telling you need to draw different types of fans and more fans? You just can't stay with what you have. It's it's been good enough to carry you for 3 or 4 years, but you know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, plus two, they're not doing well, and you're hearing how great the matches still are, and say, well, you would just sit there and say, okay, well, your base still loves the work, but you're not drawing new fans, so like you need to there needs to be a little bit of give and take here. FTR and Jay White, that's great. They went, but then that's the one thing with booking. It's like, as fans of wrestling, and you like to watch all the matches, when you hear about the greatest match ever in the history of television, but like as a booker, it's like, dude, it's like, you came up with, your creative for me tonight is like, I got to go out there and do like 4 weeks worth of wrestling in one night. And it's like, as a performer, it's like maybe, I'd be like, dude, like we're going 60.
Yeah, but here's
that's what I mean.
But here's the
what
thing.
would Raven say, right?
But here's the thing. Right. Those guys like FTR and Jay White and was it Juice Robinson? Mm-hmm. That they like that type, bro. Like they like to wrestle long matches and really physical and breaking and pop finishes and Japan style, and they like the people putting them over and saying, "Hey, man, great job." And hey, that's part of their job to put on a good performance. I can't watch a 1 hour match. There's no way.
And plus two, I would sit there and bro, there's a lot of guys from our generation, tons of guys that would say to creatives like, dude, I'm not going an hour. Right. I'm not in shape for an hour. I'm not saying, think about that. It's like if you say, hey, you're going an hour, it's like, I'm not going an hour. And what would the management do?
Yeah, like
they change it.
This is what I'm thinking. One of two. Either they came up with the idea and Tony said cool, or Tony said, hey, do you guys what do you think about doing a 60-minute match? They said cool. Right. Tony doesn't seem to me like the type of guy that will make you do something you don't want to do.
But he probably went to the presenter and they're like, yeah, they were very enthusiastic, but like the level of enthusiasm he would see in our locker for that would be minimal at best, right?
Right. Yeah. Nobody wants to wrestle an hour, right?
Right, because you get hurt. That's a lot of. You get exhausted out there, and who knows.